Paul and Sarah, the real couple that cares about your Medicare, says that Tony from trcvoiceovers.com is awesome if you want the best voice on the planet for any Audible project. Don't hesitate to reach out to him at tony@trcvoiceovers.com. It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments receive a free ebook written by your MedicareLady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
How you doing right now? It's just Paul Finkelstein. I am here in the Skylarverse. OMG Biz Cafe is now exclusively in the Skylarverse. Today is omgtalk.com, where I invite you to come into the Skylarverse at omgtalk.com. And if you come in right now, it's every Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, but we're starting a little bit earlier today. It's been a busy day as well. It's Medicare season as well up until December 7. Then we'll get busy again after the new year as well. But right now, we'll start with some inspiration. And the inspiration today comes from a guy named Jimmy Valvano, the late Jimmy Valvano. He was talking in his speech, and he was talking about the Wheaties guy. I can't remember what his name is, but those, raise your hand, or maybe you could put something in the comments if you're seeing this on my Facebook or YouTube. Put something into the comments for me if you happen to know the name of the guy who played the Wheaties guy, which really interesting. And I'm wondering if it's in the vertical format. Oh, yeah, it is in the vertical format, maybe perhaps on Facebook or YouTube, or you have a choice on YouTube or vertical or landscape. So the Wheaties guy, in one of the speeches from Jimmy Valvano, said that the Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us ordinary. I'll repeat that because it could be a word salad or a tongue twister there. And that's the Lord. This is actually a really good one. It's not even a salad. This is some serious stuff here. The Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us ordinary. But every single day, this is where it gets even better. Every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. That's every single day in every walk of life. Ordinary people do extraordinary things. That was the Wheaties guy that Jimmy Valvano was referencing in his speech, his famous 58-minute speech, I believe, on ESPN a while ago. He was a basketball coach, an amazing coach at that. And that's our inspiration for today. He also said that you plus motivation equals success. You plus motivation equals success. So thank you, Jimmy Valvano, the late Jimmy Valvano, for saying that. Thank you guys all for listening. And maybe I'll go look in the comments to see if anybody said what was the name of the Wheaties guy. I don't see anybody saying any answer to that. And then we'll go into our pledge, because in honor of, let's just say, I attended a lot of Toastmaster meetings, and I want to let you know that not only Toastmaster meetings in 145 countries, but especially the ones in the USA and North America, perhaps maybe they say the Pledge of Allegiance before a Toastmaster meeting. So I thought in every business meeting that I do, I want to do the Pledge of Allegiance in honor of Ralph Smedley, who started over 101 years ago a Toastmasters Club. Now, this is not a Toastmaster meeting, but it can be, because if you would like this to be a Toastmaster Club on this time slot on Mondays at 5:30 or 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock every Monday Eastern time, this could be one great Toastmaster meeting, because there are 3 parts to every Toastmaster meeting. One of the parts is to do prepared speeches. Another part is to do table topics. And another part is to do feedback and evaluation. Every great manager at every company, whether ordinary or not, uses the Oreo cookie method that comes from Toastmasters over 101 years. If you don't know how to do the evaluation properly, if you do not know how to evaluate your employees properly, I highly suggest you go to a Toastmasters club near you. Just go to toastmasters.org, and you could click on Find a Club at the top of their website. And within a corner of your house, like there is a drugstore or a CV or a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts, you will find a Toastmasters Club. They're also online as well. So next up on our agenda is that Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could see me as well, or if you're coming into our room, you could stand up and you can come in at omgtalk.com, make a profile, because hey, if you don't make a profile, you're probably going to get kicked off by the software in about 20 minutes. But if you make a profile, you could stay on for the full time allot, guaranteed to talk for 7 minutes uninterrupted about your business or organization or nonprofit. If you like, you'll have up to 13 different chances to have 2-minute uninterrupted times about your nonprofit or business as well. So that's that. So I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much, Jimmy Valvano. Thank you, Ralph Smedley. Thank you, Napoleon Hill. Thank you, all the great people that are amazing business leaders out there today, because well, entrepreneurs and small business owners rule the world, because nothing happens unless something is sold. Here's the word of the day. The word of the day is actually, I thought of it just now. It's going to be an acronym. And maybe it's a word. You don't really say it like it's a word, because nobody says OMG like it's a word, but people speak it like it's a word. So OMG, it's not what you think it means. It stands for online meet and greet, or offline meet and greet. So either those in-person meetings or those offline meetings as well. Online meet and greet. So OMG. So try to use, if you come into our meeting today and you want to talk uninterrupted for 7 minutes about your nonprofit or profit, whatever you want to talk about for 7 minutes uninterrupted, you can come in at omgtalk.com and register where it says enter. There's about 5 or 6 places to enter. And you can use your LinkedIn account so you don't have to create another password. So feel free to come on in at omgtalk.com. Meet me. I'll let you talk. It's uninterrupted for 7 minutes. We're up to 13 different times, a 2-minute talk for about 5 or 6 times as well. The more people, the better. Otherwise, it'll just me going through the format of our meeting, which is a lot to learn as well. So OMG is a word of the day. So I'll try to use OMG throughout my entire speech here for the next half hour to an hour being with you today. Next up is introductions, where we'll just do self-introductions. So there's basically nobody in the room right now, but I know there are a bunch of you on my Facebook and YouTube while I'm airing this live stream. OMG. Sarah, see, I just used the word of the day. Fantastic. That's exactly how it's used. You can always find us here at omgtalk.com every Monday as well. Be great to meet a few of you here, but if not, catch us on the recording. So self-introductions, this is how I would do the format. I would ask you to repeat your name after I say your name and say, I'm Paul. You say back, I am Paul. Thank you for having me here in this great beachside resort. You see those cabanas, and I'm talking right within a canvas-made cabana. I am not really at a beachside resort. This is the Canva background. I'm not here to deceive anybody. I'm just here to have fun and look good. All right. And also be helpful too. If you've never heard of Toastmasters and you want public speaking practice, this is the place to do it. Or a Toastmasters club is the place to do it as well. I am Paul Finkelstein. I am from the Delray Beach, Florida area. I am originally from Rockland County. North of the George Washington Bridge is not Canada, for those people that think it is. There's a place there called Rockland County in a little small town called New City. Do you know how many people thought New City? Every time I said New City, they thought New City was New York City. New City is not New York City. It is north of the George Washington Bridge. So that's where I'm from. Shout out to Jeff and Amy, some friends that are in New City as well. So maybe they'll catch this. All right. And next up, I actually use as a tool in my meetings, I use what Toastmasters calls a timer, an odd counter, and a word grammarian. The word grammarian will keep track of the use of language during this entire meeting. I'm also going to pull up my little trusty timer on my phone over here so I can make sure that I time myself. You can see in the viewfinder, perhaps, myself. I also have here, just like a Toastmaster meeting, a trusty old gavel that I knock on my desk over here as we hold, so that way you guys can be not just uninterrupted within your 7-minute talk about your business, your organization, your nonprofit, whatever you want to talk about, as long as you don't bore us. You promise you don't bore the pants off of us, and you could talk for 7 minutes. Okay, it's got to be clean though as well, and you can't bore us. It's got to be clean, and you can't bore us. All right, so the word grammarian will keep track of the use of language. How many times you use the word of the day? And the word of the day is OMG. There, I just used it again, but I'll report that back at the end of the meeting. Then we have an ah counter. Toastmasters has this thing called an ah counter. I love it. I want to have it in my meetings. You should have it in your meetings as too. And that is count how many times people say the word ah, like, so, double clutches, clutch, and, the. That's a double start. But you start at the beginning and you say at the very beginning. It uses up valuable time. Your brain hasn't really skipped into third, fourth, and fifth gear. You're still in first gear, and you just need to warm up. But this is the best place to practice, as well as a Toastmaster Club is the best place to practice, because out in the real world, people are not as forgiving. So that's the on counter. And then there's the timer. The timer's job is to keep track of all of the time in our meeting, because when you keep track of time during your meeting, you don't bore the pants off of your members. You keep your members excited. They know what's coming up. Having an agenda is great. If you run a meeting and it goes 2 hours, I highly recommend that you time your meetings. How many people here agree with me? Now let's go to our networking topics of our meeting. This is the part where you have 2 minutes. At 2.5 minutes, you have 2.5 minutes of uninterrupted time. So if you literally, and let me just check to see if anybody's come in here and waiting to come in here. I don't see anybody yet, so that's good. You have 2 minutes of uninterrupted time. I'll give you some samples today how it works. You'll have 2 minutes uninterrupted to talk about your business, and please don't bore us. Please don't bore us. Please keep it clean. Please keep it exciting. Please don't sell, but don't bore us. Please be enthusiastic. Please use a touch of emotion in there, and please make it so that we'll want to hear you again and again every week. All right, so that's 2.5 minutes. But the timer, how does that work? Well, at 1 minute, I will wave my little gavel in the air like it's a magic wand, at 1 minute. And then at 1.5 minutes, I'll wave my gavel again. And at 2 minutes, I'll wave my gavel again. So the third time means it's time to wrap it up. You'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up. And then finally, you'll hear me putting the gavel on the desk, and your time is done. And that's 2.5 minutes maximum time, uninterrupted for your business or nonprofit. Let's get going and give some samples of how that works. All right. So I have a box here of some topics. There are some cards here. I pick one of these cards out. And here's the first topic. Now, check this out. I love the words I learned from Toastmasters called pivot and segue. If you've never heard of the term pivot or segue, people do that all the time in the news. People do that all the time in organizations, where you're given a topic to talk about and you sideswipe that topic and you talk about something else, or you talk about the previous topic. Are you working to correct any of your faults? Are you working to correct any of your faults? That's the first topic, and then I will call upon the person. I'm only here right now, so Paul, how would you like to tackle that one? Well, small business owners, entrepreneurs, are you working to correct any of your faults? Do you ever think about correcting your faults? Do you admit that you have any faults? Do you think that there are perfect people out there? Do you think that there is no such thing as a perfect people? How many people here think that's a good question? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many people here think that's a crappy question? Raise your hand. Now, if you raise your hand for both of those, then maybe you're perhaps confused. Maybe perhaps you didn't understand the question. Maybe perhaps you didn't understand the language. Maybe if you don't speak the language, how are you supposed to understand the question? That's really great. Now, another thing is I promised that I'll keep track of time, and I did not start my timer. I just started my timer now, and it's got 1 second in it. So I'm pretty much sure that my 1 minute is fast approaching really quickly. Here's another tip. You don't have to answer this question. You absolutely do not have to answer this question. You could learn the art of pivot and segue. They are powerful tips to use in business. You could actually teach people how not to go over time. You could time yourself during your talk in your meeting. Can you imagine that? You could time yourself during a meeting. And when that time gets to 1 minute, you could begin to wrap it up. Now, if you can't get something excited across in 1 minute. The fact that you have to talk longer means you're probably using some extra buzzword technology that your audience is not going to understand. Perhaps maybe they don't have that attention span up because everybody else's time is concerned about something that they are doing. Our next topic. This is another chance for somebody to come in at omgtalk.com and talk for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, uninterrupted about their business, their nonprofit. Where would you take a cruise? Where would you take a cruise? Any idea? Well, I'm going to start the time. So now it's starting from the beginning, and the time starts when I utter my first word. So when you utter your first word, definitely the timer will begin. Where would I take a cruise? Not my first cruise, but where would I take a cruise? I like to take a cruise anywhere. Anywhere where there is vitamin C, like you see behind me. Vitamin C is amazing. Why is vitamin C amazing? Just like vitamins, I feel so good when I'm at sea. When you're taking vitamin C, you're taking vitamin B, you're taking vitamin D. You tell yourself you're feeling good. You feel good instantly. When you go on a boat, do you feel great? I always feel great. I actually just hit the stop button. Didn't mean to, but I had 10 seconds left. But hey, I'm doing what I want to do during my minute. And the whole purpose of these 2-minute non-interrupted talks from business people and organizations to come into omgtalk.com and register at our community. The whole point is to get to know each other. Don't overthink it. Getting to know each other is great, especially for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Which musical would you love to see on Broadway? Which musical would you love to see on Broadway? At this point, it will be really great if I started off this particular speech actually singing, but I don't want to sing. Do you want to sing? What you're looking at to the right of me, or stage left or stage right, isn't a beachside theater, a resort with the cabanas there on the right side. And I made this box perfectly into a cabana. So this is a larger version of one of those little cabanas that you see right over there on the right. And if I were to make a musical, I'd like to see the OMG Biz Cafe on Broadway so that they could sing to the other small business owners and entrepreneurs how they could have an uninterrupted time to talk about their business, so they could have an uninterrupted time for 7.5 minutes and talk all about their business. Maybe if I were on Broadway, I'd say Medicare is very important. It's a very important decision to make when you get to a big birthday. Okay, should I stop singing? I smell another question coming up, so here it is. You could have this choice. Now, I could ask this question to you or one of your colleagues so we can get to know you. What restaurant makes the best hamburger? Can you see how when you hear other people here in omgtalk.com at OMG Biz Cafe answer questions like this, our networking questions, we get to know you. You get to know us. We get to hear you uninterrupted for 2.5 minutes. And 3 businesses will get to talk for 7.5 minutes each, uninterrupted about their business or their organization. I didn't even tell you who makes the best hamburger yet, and I'm just blabbing away. Who said you actually have to talk about the specific topic at hand? As long as you entertain the audience, inform the audience, educate the audience, and be friendly to the audience, isn't that really what matters? If you could be helpful, entertaining, appeal to everybody's emotions. Hamburgers probably are not the healthiest thing on the planet. And don't talk to me about the fake hamburger. Ugh. Okay. What do you enjoy eating when you're alone? What do you enjoy eating when you're alone? I mean, I guess if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is there to hear it, does it make a sound? So if you're eating ice cream in your house and nobody's there to see you, does it have any calories? Good question, huh? And you see how fast 1 minute goes? And now 1 minute's the minimum time. I'm actually rattling these off in the minute, 1 minute minimum uninterrupted time from business owners or nonprofits, etc. Just don't bore us. Please don't bore us if you're going to come in here at omgtalk.com. Which school has the best mascot? Does your school have the best mascot? Fellow business owners, entrepreneurs, do you like the best mascot by the color that mascot is wearing, or the number of feathers that mascot is wearing? By the expression on that mascot's face? Is that how you choose the best mascot? By the number of jumping jacks that mascot could do? Is that how you choose the best mascot? By the mascot that understands Medicare? Is that how you choose the best mascot? How do you think we should choose the best mascot? All right, if you'd like to get this next question, come on to omgtalk.com. Register a profile, because if you don't register, the software is going to kick you off in about 20 minutes. If you register, you can stay on forever, not really here in this Scholarverse, but you'll be able to network in our business community as well at omgtalk.com. Which childhood friend would you like to connect with? Is there a childhood friend that you would like to connect with? Have you ever, fellow business owners and entrepreneurs, ever met somebody on social media that you haven't connected with in like 45 years, and you see their face? How many people here are actually alive several decades so that they are over 20, and they've met somebody that they first met 45 years ago, and they recognize their picture on a Facebook page, and they have the exact same face from 45 years ago? That happened to me, and I met this individual at a Dunkin' Donuts just down the street. And it was a great cup of coffee, some great laughs, and it's great when that happens, especially when they're still here and still kicking. All right, that's about my 1 minute mark as well as there, so I'll keep going and do some more uninterrupted 1 to 2.5 minutes before we get into our 7.5 minute bonus time, where you can come in here at omgtalk.com, register, and hopefully you can come in here into the Scholarverse, which means you actually have to click on the word Scholarverse. It shouldn't be too hard. You actually register for the OMG Biz Cafe, and then you could click on Scholarverse and come right in here. Now, if you're having some problems, you could always text me at 561 302 0051. So if you're having some technical issues, you could text me at 561 302 0051. But how are your character and reputation different? How are your character and reputation different? Or are they the same? I mean, because small business owners, entrepreneurs, does character affect your reputation, perhaps? If we don't like your new character the way you're acting now, perhaps maybe your reputation is on the line. Good question. Whose plastic surgery has finally changed them from attractive to scary looking? Do you know somebody that their plastic surgery has finally changed them from attractive looking to scary looking? I think that what's interesting is that some of us age really well, and some of us not so much. To my sister out in the West Coast, in the mountains area, I still do not dye my hair. This is original color. I do not dye my hair. So does that mean I'm not scary looking? Maybe I was scary looking to begin with. But listen, there are some movie actors that I watched when I was 30, 40 years ago. They had hair, and now they do not have hair. They look very different. I wouldn't recommend plastic surgery. I think that it's all in here and all in here, in your heart and in your head. Maybe if you're a plastic surgeon, you might not like me saying that, but I think that your character and reputation are just fine. I think your attitude is probably one of the things that I think is the crucial part. I think that everybody on the planet, whether you own a business or not, should read the book Think and Grow Rich or Magic of Thinking Big. Those are fantastic books. I'm at the 1.5 minute mark. I'm never going over. I'm never going to be boring. And I love meeting business people and entrepreneurs at the omgtalk.com at OMG Biz Cafe. When's the last time you went dancing? When is the last time I went dancing, fellow business owners, entrepreneurs? My wife took me dancing at a place called the Wyndham Hotel off of 95 in Glades Road. You know where that is. You know what state that's in. It was packed. Other than a wedding, I think that was the last time we went dancing. The only other times we dance is when we teach people how to make their money dance. Is your money dancing? And if your money is dancing, is it dancing in the direction you want it to go? We help you make your money dance. Boy, that's a great slogan. Don't you steal it. I'm going to steal it from myself. Okay. Next up, if you could design and build a room of your own, what would it look like? If you could design and build a room of your own, what would it look like? Well, I think that my wife and I are very into self-help, improvement books, business books, marketing books. We love books that inspire us big time, inspiring us to be entrepreneurs, inspiring us to be small business owners. And we have over 2,000 books spread throughout our home. But we don't have a library dedicated to just books. If we were to designate a room in our home, I think it would be the library. I think we need to have a library, and immediately I need to put a dream list, bucket list item on our dream list for our own personal library. Do you have a personal library, or do you have enough books, or do you want to get enough books and have your own library? Or is there something you would do to a room in your house, and what would it be? Think clean and not boring. That's what I'm getting at. All right. Who or what has contributed the most to your value system? Who has contributed the most to your value system? Starting the clock. I am timing every aspect of this meeting. Every meeting that you attend should time their meeting, or you're boring the pants off of your members and turning them away left and right. Time your meetings. You will thank me later. So, what has contributed the most? I would say Dr. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I just ordered a book called Wake Up and Live by Dorothy Abrams. Have you heard of Dorothy Abrams called Wake Up and Live? I think it was $9 or less on Amazon. How do you beat that price for a book? And it was written in 1937, the same time as Think and Grow Rich was originally called The Laws of Business, I believe. Those two books should be at the top of everybody's reading list. That's about 1 minute right there. What dramatic event happened in your town that people still talk about? Loaded question, perhaps, but is there a dramatic event in your town that people still talk about? I think every single day, in every walk of life. I mean, it was the word of the day. OMG is the word of the day today. And the dramatic event is this. This is the dramatic event that everybody should talk about. OMG Cafe, omgtalk.com, OMG, the word of the day. This is the event you need to talk about, because you can have uninterrupted time to talk for 2.5 minutes about anything you want, as long as you don't bore us to pants, bore us to tears. Please don't do that. All right. I think that's enough topics. Do you think I have more than 13 topics here? These were uninterrupted topics that you could have talked about today. Every Monday, generally at 5:30 for 90 minutes. You could have 90 minutes all to yourself if you wanted. You don't get to talk all 90 minutes if you thought that's what that was, you don't get to talk all 90 minutes because I'm here. It's not just you, it's at least me and maybe some other guests as well. And you thought you were going to talk for 90 minutes. If you talk for 90 minutes, when am I going to introduce you? Because every speaker deserves an introduction. Every speaker, if they have an introduction that talks a little bit about their background, a good introduction introduces and sets up the speech, sets up the speaker. How many people agree with me on that one? All right. Now we're going to do our timing here a little bit different because I gave the timing parameters for the networking topics of the day on Mondays at 5:30 Eastern to 7 p.m. But today we're going from just 5 to 6 because I have a client meeting that's right after this at 6 o'clock or 6:30 rather to get me to get to that meeting. So we're not going to 7 o'clock today, but hey, you can catch this recording on my Facebook or catch this recording on my YouTube as well. And I'll send it out to a few as well voluntarily. And you could say, hey, I loved it. Or Paul, I love the spam. Thanks so much. Sometimes we need to stop overthinking things. Okay. If you have a business and you want to collaborate, you're on the right place at the right time. If you don't have a business, smile. I like you. I like you. Let's move on. All right. This session here, you could choose to have uninterrupted time and talk, 5 minutes minimum, or you'll see the gavel. And then at 6 minutes, you'll see the gavel again. And then at 7 minutes, you'll see the gavel again, of which you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up. And then, boom, you are done. 7.5 minutes of uninterrupted time. If you would like 7.5 minutes of uninterrupted time, register at omgtalk.com. If I'm not able or my assistant is not able to verify you, if you do it now, we will catch you next Monday. Not a problem. You could also give us your mobile number on omgtalk.com. Click on the blue button there, and we'll text back and forth, and we'll see you next Monday. Not a problem as well. So our first, let's see. The doorbell's ringing. I wonder who it is. All right. I'm going to let this person in and see if they come in. I think, let's see if there's anybody in there. You might hear silence, but I see nobody's picture up on the screen. They might be able to hear me. See how it's in a circle? We can see a black square. Somebody is coming into the beachside resort. It looks like Jeff, but I don't hear Jeff. So I give 3 more seconds, and then if he could hear me or not, I'm just going to have to X him out of the room. Okay, didn't hear him. I gave him about a full 30 seconds. Didn't see him. It could be his Wi-Fi. That's always the case because I have Wi-Fi, you have Wi-Fi. I could do exactly what you guys could do. And I give people time to come in here. But if it's your technology, you have to work. See, he's trying to come in again. But I'm going to refuse him right now. And the reason why I'm going to refuse him right now is because our meeting has already started. And there's about 20 minutes left of the meeting. And this person also, if you were to come in now, you missed your chance to do a 1 to 2 minute introduction where not only do you introduce yourself, but we get to know you through a series of networking topics. And if you missed the entire session of networking topics, then what good does that do? Because now we don't know who you are, and then you're going to give us a 7.5 minute uninterrupted time. How fair is that, right? So make sure that you go to omgtalk.com, and one thing you could do to make up for it is you could put a comment at OMG Biz Cafe on the Skylarverse So OMG Biz Cafe, if you go to OMG Biz Cafe and you make a comment on the top of our community, you know, our doorbell keeps ringing, but we're going to have to reject him right now and see if that works. What do you do, if you don't want someone to interrupt you? So now I'm going to go to our speech at hand. Do you know how to learn how to be better at impromptu speaking? Do you have any idea how to be better at impromptu speaking? I will give you an A for effort for trying to come in here now, but I cannot do that because you didn't participate in the networking topics. Of course, he probably did not get my notice that I was starting the meeting at 5 o'clock, ending at 6 o'clock. He probably was coming in, to be fair, at 5:30 when the meeting normally starts and ends at 7, and was probably expecting to come here at 7. But I left a note 24 hours ago that this meeting was going to be from 5 to 6 today. So I only have a few more minutes. So I wanted to talk about how you can be better at impromptu speaking and give some tips on that. This particular speaker, you're looking at him, actually loves to do impromptu speaking. And the way you do impromptu speaking, so you're never boring. Well, for one thing, you could ask a series of questions. Another thing you can do is adjust your vocal variety and have more enthusiasm in your tone of voice, because your tone of voice is 38% of your communication. 38% is tone of voice. I would highly suggest you make your tone of voice as enthusiastic as possible. You don't want to bore the pants off of your audience, especially if you're on a Zoom meeting, because we're all in the center of this square. How do we make ourselves more exciting in this square? For one thing, if you hold up a prop right in the middle of your talk, hold it steady. Give people a chance to look at it and say, have you ever seen a more prettier gavel than that? And then put it down. You have definitely found a way to get attention during a meeting like this. Another tip for impromptu speaking: listen to the question ahead of time. So, for example, I'll pull one of the questions that I was using before. What dramatic event happened in your town that people still talk about? Ask the facilitator to repeat the question. It's not just because you didn't hear it. You actually get excuses to get more time to formulate what are you going to say to respond to that question. You don't have to respond right away. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you ask the person to repeat the question. What dramatic event happened in your town that people still talk about? I'm still talking about this Skylarverse, the OMG Biz Cafe, where you don't have to waste gas. You don't have to waste time. And you could show up on time if you are aware that the time was 5 o'clock today. So repeating and asking the facilitator to repeat the question is a great idea as well. Do you know how important it is to pause in the middle of a speech? Do you have any idea how important it is to pause in the middle of a speech? If you caught that, I asked a question. I specifically talked about pausing, and you saw a dead air in the middle of my speech. The magic of a pause can be more powerful than just adding more words to a speech. You do not have to add more words to a speech. Do you agree with me? I agree with me. So you can see there are lots of things you can do. For instance, what dramatic event happened in your town that people still talk about. I love the color red. Red looks great on a sports car. Do you think that red looks great on a sports car too? Did I talk about an event? Did I talk about a dramatic event? I talked about something different. What's your favorite color? Did I just pause? Did I just use the art of segue? How powerful is that? The third part of our meeting is evaluations, just like Toastmasters. This is not a Toastmaster meeting, but in this meeting, we will evaluate how the speakers did. You could apply this whether you were a speaker or not, so it's great to listen to it. For instance, the 7.5-minute uninterrupted time that you could have had a chance to if you participated in the networking portion of our meeting. In this 7.5-minute time, uninterrupted about your business or nonprofit, that is the sound of a doorbell. And I don't know how to project and make it go away forever, but we've had somebody be religious about it to keep coming into the meeting as if I'm verklempt, like I don't know technology, like maybe I'm having technology problems. In interest of time, I don't complain about anything, generally speaking. I do want to offer up an evaluation, a feedback. What I liked about this meeting and what I loved about this meeting. I love the Skylarverse because it's exclusive. You cannot get a 7.5-minute uninterrupted time to talk about your business or nonprofit anywhere else for free, but here. And you could have all 90 minutes to yourself. If it was all 90 minutes to yourself, I wouldn't be here. Now, every time there's another speaker, that's 10 minutes off of your time. But you do get 7.5 all to yourself while I'm listening. You're guaranteed a listener for the full 7 minutes as well. Are you guaranteed a listener for your talk where you go right now? Yeah, right. So when you're speaking, tell me that people are not multitasking, looking at their phone, looking down, taking notes, missing what your expressions are. Are they capturing everything, every moment of your speech? And do they care? Well, they do care if they know you care. So that's a great point as well. I loved that I get to look at myself in a mirror, perhaps, and look at myself later to see what my expressions are. So this is wonderful practice. I do want to thank you all for listening. If you tuned in at all on my Facebook or my YouTube. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to run downstairs into a customer meeting. And then at 6:30, I'm going to head over to the office to take care of some more customers. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the Monday. I hope your Monday was motivational. I hope that you pick up the book, Wake Up and Live by Dorothy Abrams. I hope you pick up the book, Think and Grow Rich by Dr. Napoleon Hill. I hope you pick up the book by Dr. David Schwartz, The Magic of Thinking Big. 3 books I highly recommend for anybody, whether you have a business or not. Thank you for tuning in. And by the way, I give Tony the last couple of words.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
Tony from TRC Voiceovers. That's trcvoiceovers.com. Is not a. You need a real person to do voiceovers. I highly recommend Tony to do your voiceovers. And the last couple of words I recommend or have for you is a message from Mr. and Mrs. Medicare. You could always find more information about Mr. and Mrs. Medicare at yourmedicarelady.com. You could find more information about Mr. and Mrs. Medicare at yourmedicarelady.com.
It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments received a free ebook written by yourmedicarelady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
And you can get that free ebook by going to omgtalk.com. And at the top, it shows you where to email and what to put in the subject line for your free ebook all about Medicare. Have a great night, everybody.
Welcome to the OMG Talk podcast with Paul Finkelstein. Great advice and talk with small business owners, workaholics, and whiz-bang entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Paul Finkelstein.